Hi, Pod Squad. It's me. And I'm sitting here trying to decide how the hell to tell you about what's about to happen in the next hour. I think what I want to say to you is that we finally have one of my favorite actors here, Natasha Rothwell. I love watching her act so much because she wakes me up in a way that every time she comes on the screen, my soul goes, oh, hello. And okay.
She's amazing.
Was it not the most magical conversation you've ever had? Like, I don't know how to, she's about to in her embodied, gorgeous, wise, illuminating way, show you how not only to survive this time, but to absolutely stay alive and thrive during this time. Just, you're welcome. Here's Natasha Rothwell. Amanda, tell them, for anyone who possibly doesn't know who Natasha Rothwell is.
Natasha Rothwell is the creator, executive producer, and star of the critically acclaimed Hulu series How to Die Alone, which she conceived and came up with by herself and stars in. That is currently streaming. She's also recently earned her second Emmy nomination for her role as Belinda Lindsey, the White Lotus. She is also known for her work on HBO's Insecure, and she has her own production company, Big Hattie Productions, which she uses to create and produce all kinds of beautiful art for the purpose of championing marginalized voices in subversive ways. She is subtly and beautifully and elegantly subversive. Yes. It's like you're being subversive and you're so damn cute about it.
And she may have called herself the third Doyle sister. So y'all here we go. I just have to tell you, we have so deeply been looking forward to this time with you because you, for me, whether it was Insecure or White Lotus or How to Die Alone, you are someone, when you come on screen, there's certain writers in my life, when I first open a book and I read their words, I kind of wake up.
Oh.
And when you come on screen of anything, I don't know if it's like a serious presence that you have, or it's just all talent, or if it's a God thing or what, but you just really are constantly radiating something that wakes people up.
Thank you. That means everything. I feel so seen. No, that means everything. And like I said before, like back and forth from the How to Die Alone writers room, you guys were like, brought me into every morning, and I tell everyone, and I have I do a vision board because I'm that girl, and I have a We Can Do Hard Things little cut out on my vision board. It's just true. The love is real. It's real.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's all I need for this week. And it's a freaking week, Natasha.
Girl, this week has been a year. My God. That's why I'm happy to be here. This is a warm hug. Oh, yeah.
So you must know that over the years, as I really just tried to figure out what was going on with you on screen, I started to read a lot about you. So I would watch all your interviews or read your things to try to figure out what you know. That it was like one of those I'll have what she's having situations. So I try to find out what you're having. And what we've done for this time together is we've just grabbed a few little things that you've said.
Goodness.
And we want to read them to you. And then they're just little things.
Oh, my word. Okay.
Because I feel like you are actually a philosopher. I mean, I know you are. That you are kind of a philosopher. And the way you talk about the big questions of life in your art and in interviews I just want that for the Pod Squad. I want them to just hear you talk about things. Okay. So the first one, which I have memorized, I don't even have to look at my notes, is something you said in an interview a long time ago when I knew that we were soulmates. And you said the thing that confused you the most was to hear Ariel from The Little Mermaid say, I want to be where the people are. And you said, I do not want
that.
to be where the people are.
There's nothing I want less. I do not want to be where the people. I want to be where the people aren't. I want to be in the underground bunker. I want to be away, far up in a tree. Yeah.
Yes. Where do you, if you had to finish that line, I want to be where the
I want
are.
to be.
What would it be?
Where the laughter is. I want to be where the nervous system regulation is. I want to be. I want to be where the rest is. I want to be where the cortisol is zero. That's where I want to be.
Yeah. So America. That's good. That's good.
America. Tick, tick,
Yeah.
tick. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, I was thinking I want to be where the couches are.
Yes.
I want to be
the pajamas, the edibles.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
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 So do you, for the Pod Squad, are you an introvert? Describe how you find peace and joy and connection if it's not in other people.
The thing is I do. But I understand at my big age that there is a cost for engagement. And I have to pay it. I don't know how to half-ass like connection or even conversation. So if I'm out at an event and there's a line of, complete strangers, I will be with them and talk to them and give of myself in that moment. I don't know how to reserve that energy. So I just know that after those exchanges, which light me up and give me purpose, I feel incredibly depleted. And I love to recharge solo with my dogs, just being with myself. And I do, engage in social media, but that's a way where I can control the output and input of that energy. And more so just turn off and be entertained. But I've just learned that of myself. And I think for a long time, I would get frustrated that I couldn't just, bounce back so quickly, or I would bounce back quickly at a cost. It's just like insomnia or whatever else. But yeah, I definitely am an introvert in that sense. When I'm out, I'm out. But when I'm in, I need to be in order to be out again.
Are there certain kinds of people? This is what my daughter and I were talking about the other night. Is there a certain type of person that you can be around that is recharging to you?
Absolutely.
And are there certain types of people that are going to drain you faster?
Yes. And usually those people in my life, like I can put them in those buckets of just like, can I be around this person? And sometimes it's not even that they're additive to my energy. They just it's neutralized. Like there's no expenditure. So I can just recharge myself and know that there's no kind of social, familial, fraternal obligation to like ask how someone's day, like something as small as just like, hey, how are you? Sometimes I just don't care.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't care if you're okay, right? I just can't ask you that question. So it's definitely helpful for me to know who in my life and how much energy they cost. And so there's some friends, some family that are expensive. And so I have to save up for them. And then there's some friends that do pour into me. But I do think just because I'm so wired to be anxious and stressful and care about other people so much, that even the ones that are attempting to pour into me, I'm like, oh my God, you must be exhausted. Do you need something to drink? How about I see, it is compulsive. Like I don't know how to not reciprocate in the moment and just receive that. So yeah, did I mention I'm single? I wonder, there's something there.
Ooh, that's interesting. Because as you were talking, I was thinking, first of all, would people be surprised when they're around you? Like if you're at a party, would they leave and be like, Natasha is an extrovert? Like, are you one of those that presents, because that's how I am. Everyone would think I was an extrovert, but I'm like debilitated after it. And then I have to recover. So Is that true of you?
Yeah, I feel like some people wouldn't know, but I do think as I've gotten older and more accustomed to advocating for my needs, I will sometimes announce like, you know, my battery's running low, I'm gonna head out or like whatever. But like in the moment, I enjoy people. I enjoy like
Right.
hosting and like making sure everyone's good and taking care of people and laughing and having a good time. But I feel like there was definitely years, even decades of my life where people were just like, that extrovert Natasha is just a hoot. And I'd be at home rocking in the shower, fully clothed. Like, what did I give away? Yeah.
My idea of myself is that I love taking care of people's needs and being around people. Like my best imagining of myself is surrounded by people. They're all over my house. They're at my table and they're my couch. But like every once in a while when I try it, I just hate it and want everyone to leave right away.
Correct.
Yeah.
I go in thinking Florence Nightingale, and then I get there and I'm like Kathy Bates in Misery. I'm like, one of us will die in order for this to end well. Because I do think like it is like whatever the saying is, the spirit is willing but the flesh is weak. Like my body is just like I just can't. And I have really, really been trying to honor that limit, like when I come up against that boundary and not push through it, like there's this idea of martyrdom that I grew up with just because grew up in the church. And so it's just like, if it hurts me, it must be great, and it's not ever. So yeah, I'm getting used to backing myself when I bump up against the end of the battery.
Do you believe that? Because we were raised Catholic and by a football coach.
Oh boy.
So it was like Jesus on the cross,
Yeah.
and then additionally, like keep your head down and hustle and no pain, no gain, no guts, no glory,
Yeah.
all of the things. So double whammy football and
Whew.
Catholic. No.
Hail Marys
Hail
everywhere.
Marys all the place.
Do you believe that suffering is necessary? Like, do you think that's all bullshit? And if not, how do you know what's the right kind of hard and what's the wrong kind of hard?
That's an incredible question. I don't think self-imposed suffering is necessary. I think that suffering is built into life as we know it. And so I think understanding your own suffering, I think, is a catalyst for empathy because you can recognize it in other people. But I think so much of the ideology of the church that I grew up in, and it's, it wasn't football on the other side, but it was Black church. And it's just like, you think you had it hard kind of like idea, where it's just like, no, I guess I must go live harder lives. Like, I guess. But yeah, I think that there was this idea of this self-sacrifice being so noble and worthy. And I think I saw it through several generations of matriarchs in my family, especially. And I think I'm so grateful that my siblings' generation, like we put a stop to that sort of cyclical self flagellation of just like, that isn't what makes us, I think, worthy. And I think sort of the insidious subtext of that kind of martyrdom is I have to earn whatever grace or rest that I need in this moment. I have to sort of log the hours of self-sacrifice and then I can earn rest. And I thought that for the longest time, even still, I super struggle with days off because I'm like, I need to be productive. And it's taken a while for me to internalize that rest is productive and that, it's not something to be earned. It's a grace that we need to give to ourselves.
Yeah. And it's the point. Like, I don't like when we talk about rest as it's the thing we do so that we can get back to work.
Right.
It's like, no, I think we just work a little bit so we can get back to rest.
Yes.
Right.
That is truly the dream. Truly the dream. I was talking to someone the other day And they're like, what are your goals for the next 5 years? And I was like, a vacation, and I heard
Mhm.
myself say it and I was like, that's not right. I shouldn't be putting rest or a break or a pause and kicking that can down the line. It's something that I could have today. And it's just having the courage to do it, because I do think it's so internalized. It's like muscle memory, that like martyrdom and that kind of like work ethic of being like such a workhorse. But I'm good. I mean, 20 plus years of therapy. I'm clawing my way out of that.
Yeah.
It's beautiful too, because it is muscle memory, because even the like vacation, it's like, okay, that is a defined space of time in which we have all agreed you are authorized to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And so we understand that, but I think it's really hard, even when moments of ease are theoretically available, not to feel discomfort in them because of the talk track that's like, oh boy, it's been 5 minutes and what are you doing? You should be doing this. Like, have you been able to rework that muscle memory so you can actually experience the ease instead of like having that internal struggle all the time?
Yeah, I think for me, the struggle will always be there, right? And for me, therapy is just being able to recognize my thoughts more quickly over time. And
Mhm.
I've gotten really good at recognizing when that tape starts and is telling me that,
Yeah.
like, if you sit and take this rest, or if you just, turn on the TV and just like go and let it go, like, you're not worthy. Because it's deeply tied to worthiness, I think, especially for those that have,
Yeah.
gone through the church of just like having that sacrifice. And so I'll hear that tape start and then I challenge those thoughts, because I think, feelings aren't fact. And for a long time, I confused that. And so, like, if I was feeling like I wasn't worthy or like didn't deserve this time off, that was the fact and that was the truth. And I had to sort of pay sweat equity in order to earn rest. And so I'm better at challenging that muscle memory and those thoughts when they play. And it gets quieter, right? Like the tape isn't loud. It was super loud when I was younger and it's still playing, but it's a little softer and I can drown it out with, Beyonce. So like there are ways
That'll
that'll
do
do
it.
it, right? There's worthiness there. So yeah. Yeah.
It's weird. It's like a great trick of capitalism to take these like things that are birthrights. Like there's only a few birthrights.
Yeah.
Like we should be able to rest, we should be able to eat.
Yeah.
We should be, and to take them away and then trick us into thinking, I mean, it sounds like a version of diet culture the way we're talking about
Yes.
rest. Like you have to earn your
Yes.
food.
It's the
You have to,
commodification of like wellness and rest. And like the insidious part is the same system is making us sick. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's just like the arsonist firefighter of just like, let me make you spin out about how you're not enough. Then here are things that you can do to make yourself enough, but just kidding, it'll never be enough. And then you're back on the wheel. It's exhausting.
what
It's
kind
the
of
same with
rest?
sex too. Like
You
when
have to
think
earn your
about when
sex? You have
your
to earn sex?
birthrights. No, but like when you're talking about your birthrights of your own ease and rest and food and sexuality, and then we come and get all these messages are like, okay, well, here's the following 400 rules in which the sex will be okay, which screws up the sex for the rest of your life.
It's crazy. And I think it's just like there's a benefactor at the end of this. I think in the same way we think about capitalism and other ways that it expresses itself, like just follow the money. You know what I mean? It's just like there's so many people profiting off of our dis-ease. And I think that for me, it's been this slow, deliberate pause I've been trying to insert in my, not just thinking when, the tape starts to play, but just even checking in on, is this actually the medicine I need right now? Or is it actually poisoning me? Like, and it's wildly nuanced, but I think that slowing down in all of the ways is one way to sort of catch those moments where you're getting caught up in that pull of capitalism to determine if you're hot enough, if you're sexy enough, if you're, smart enough, all of the enoughness. Yeah.
Yep. Do you think, I want to know what kind of rest you have found that is actually restorative to you? Because I think one of the trickiest things, and I'm speaking from my experience right now, is that what we've been trained to do now is that when we're feeling depleted or we can't do it anymore or whatever, we go on our phone.
Mhm.
And for me, I was just thinking about last night. Like, I was in a pretty okay mood because I had been through the day of In America, which I'd already done all the highs and lows, and I was trying to do my breathing, and I was in the bathtub taking my minute, and then I started scrolling. Now, it's not just the doom scrolling. For me, it's I can feel okay about myself. I can feel like I did enough. I'm okay. Gosh darn it, people like me, and I have done my
Yes.
best. But then I get on the phone, and Natasha, immediately I feel like, oh my God, I'm not doing enough. Those people are getting all the things. I'm not relevant. Like, all the immediately 0 to 60.
Yeah.
So it's like the thing that we're using to restore ourselves is actually what you described as more poison.
Yeah.
That is, what is actually helpful to you?
It's different. It's different all the time, but there's some things that are consistent, and they're not revolutionary. Crosswording. I love it. I do the New York Times crossword every day. It's so nerdy. Every answer that I get right is a little dopamine hit. I can hyperfixate on it. I do get on my phone, and what I feel like whatever alien is running TikTok, like it's curated to cookie decorating. Like, I'm watching
Nice.
all of those videos. I'm watching
Mhm.
Korean campers put up tents that are like very bespoke, and it is just so random and strange, but it's just I can get into someone watching glass bottles fall down the stairs, and I'm like, yeah. And so part of it is giving myself permission to use social media to pacify me, but not just incite me, which it does. And so I've tried to, for instance, on my TikTok, I don't follow, and I follow three things. I follow my nephew, I follow Risa Tisa, and I follow my show, How to Die Alone. But I don't follow people, so my curation is really based on what I'm stopping to view. And it's very Legos, love it. So that's one way. I enjoy being in water, bath. I like just and you know what? I'm just gonna say it, edibles. And here's why. I was not acquainted with the medicinal effects of THC until I came to California, where it's just everywhere. And
Yep.
as someone who is neurodivergent, in my mind, the speed with which it can go, it would put Sonic to shame. To take an edible doesn't reduce me to being incoherent. It allows me just to have a little bit of quiet. So to have that and sit and do a crossword puzzle, delightful. I bought some Lego sets, so I've been doing that. Inspired by TikTok. So there is maybe a capitalistic bent to that rest, but yeah.
Sponsored. This interview sponsored by Legos.
But yeah.
Natasha, did you say you don't follow people? I think you said that very briefly, but I think you may have solved
only on TikTok.
Social media. Okay.
On TikTok, it's just those three. My nephew texted me. He's like, Natasha, could you follow me? And I was like, I got you. I was like, I got you, boo-boo. So, and I also have a social media manager that curates my posts. So I don't even post. Anything that's posted is her. I just turn it on TV, and I'm like, I wonder what cookies are in season. Are the Halloween cookies up? Let's watch some ghost cookies be made. Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm starting to wonder if this is part of the sunshine that comes out of you. Do you not read anything about you? If your social media person is posting about you, do you not read the comments?
No. I don't read the Instagram will alert me if a friend has commented. And so I can engage, and they're usually saying something wonderful. But when it comes to sort of I am not in the comments like that. No. I just I think for me, I know I'm already predisposed to think negatively about myself. So I'm just
Mhm.
like, I don't need no gas on the fire. So like for me,
Yeah.
I'm hunting for I'm like, who liked it? Like I'm like looking for the positivity, and more often
Yes.
than not,
Yeah.
it's there. Yeah.
Huh. And now it's time to thank the companies who allow you to listen to We Can Do Hard Things for free.
As we shared in episode 306, The Truth of OCD, we have a very special place in our hearts for folks in the OCD community and those who love them. Obsessive compulsive disorder is about intrusive, unwanted thoughts that won't stop, doubts about relationships, worries about your health, or fears you'll hurt someone. OCD affects 1 in 50 people in the US, and yet it is so stigmatized and misunderstood that it takes an average of 10 to 15 years to be diagnosed, which is tragic because OCD is actually highly treatable with the right kind of help. The key is finding specialized therapy. Standard talk therapy isn't recommended for OCD. It can actually make it worse, which is why I want to tell you about NoCD. NoCD is the world's leading provider of specialized OCD treatment with licensed therapists trained in exposure and response prevention, or ERP, therapy. The most effective treatment available. Therapy with NoCD is 100% virtual, covered by insurance for over 155 million Americans. They even provide support in between sessions, offering a safe space where your struggles will be understood without judgment. If any of this sounds like you or someone you care about, visit nocd.com and book a free 15-minute call with their team to learn more about how NoCD can help. That's nocd.com.
Lots of you are in the midst of the exciting and stressful time of hiring. And I know from experience that hiring can feel like a lot of work. Sometimes it's like you're looking for a needle in a haystack for your role, especially with so many places to look for candidates. How do you find enough people with the right skills, experience, and mindsets? And that's where our sponsor, ZipRecruiter, comes in. ZipRecruiter finds amazing candidates for you fast. And right now, you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/weekend. ZipRecruiter's smart technology identifies top talent for your roles quickly, immediately after you post your job. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology starts showing you qualified people for it. Here's how it works. The minute you post a job, ZipRecruiter's powerful technology starts matching your role with top talent. And if you see someone you really like, you can even use their invite to apply feature to reach out directly, which means great candidates are more likely to apply sooner. Ditch the other hiring sites and let ZipRecruiter find what you're looking for, the needle in a haystack. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it for free at this exclusive website, ziprecruiter.com/weekend. Again, that's ziprecruiter.com/weekend. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
You mentioned your neurodivergence.
Mhm.
Can you talk to us about this? When did this come to you as a fact?
Yeah.
And how has it affected you, and what is it?
It came to me as a fact a year ago, a little over a year ago. I have known my whole life that I got different factory settings than my siblings and my peers, and there was a lot of thought put into things that my siblings and peers didn't. And I was just very hyper aware of, I have extremely good pattern recognition, which also is an offshoot of that neurodivergence. And so I would be able to pick up quickly and sense changes and respond and, react. And what brought me to it actually was TikTok. I was scrolling and there was a lot of people, being late diagnosed ADHD. And mind you, at this point, I was already diagnosed and medicated for anxiety and depression.
Mm.
Which, come to find out, a lot of people with ADHD have that.
Mhm.
And so there was a lot of clues, but I leaned in when I was seeing so much of my experience being shown on TikTok. And so um last summer I went and saw a neuropsychologist here in California who was wonderful, and I did, the whole 8-hour battery of tests to sort of figure it out. And
Mhm.
she was just like, "Yeah, you got raging ADHD, girl." I was like, "Really, huh?" And I just remember crying because it was just like it has a name. And
Mm.
with that name comes a
Mhm.
community, and with that name comes understanding. And I've always been very just kind of insatiably curious about myself because I was always trying to figure out why I was different. And so this
Mhm.
kind of discovery of ADHD, and I was not on the autism spectrum, or official autism diagnosis, but I do have a lot of autistic traits, which she was just like, a lot of the overlap between ADHD and autism, that's sort of where you're living. And so, um, being able to know that about myself, I went from being ashamed of my inability to, um, run the same race as everyone else to being an advocate for my needs. As I mentioned
Mm.
earlier, like, it was one of
Mm.
those things where something as small as, um, my auditory processing as a part of ADHD, um, I can miss a lot of things because I'm thinking about a lot of things. And so if I'm on set and a director is giving me verbal instructions, in the past, I would just, like, have anxiety and hope I got it. And now I'm like,
Oh.
now I'm just like, can I see the note? Like, can it? Because my visual sort of, processing, it'll stick faster. Or can you repeat that? Or feel free to stop me if I got it wrong, and not have shame when that happens. And so
Nice.
it's like little tiny things like that where I was just like, I'm slowly unmasking all the ways I have been masking my whole life. So
Mm.
it's been revolutionary.
Was there grief in knowing for your past self that didn't know?
I cried a lot last summer about it, like, truly,
Ah.
because I was always I did really well academically. I was in all the AP
Mhm.
classes, advanced classes, and gifted classes, and I busted my ass.
Mhm.
And I remember just the effort that it took for me to keep pace, because I knew I was smart, but it
Mhm.
was just like, it's taking me a lot to meet the demands of these
Mhm.
classes and the rigor. Um, and had I had the diagnosis then, I would have had more time for tests. I would have had
Right.
accommodations and um, had a lot more grace with myself. And I think
Yeah.
that,
Mhm.
yeah, it definitely had a grieving process of forgiving myself for not. You guys are trying to make me cry. Um,
Mm.
Forgiving myself for not knowing, as
Yeah.
much as there was no way I could have, or perhaps there was, but I just didn't. And so there's just it's been healing in that way of just like saying it's okay. You did the best you could.
Is there
Mm.
any other side of it besides forgiveness that feels like you forgive yourself? Is there any side that's like also, wow, like
Yeah.
I did all that
Yeah.
without even with a different set of wiring, or as you said, is there any like, holy shit, way to go, kid?
Yeah, absolutely. It
Yeah.
feels
Mhm.
very much like that was me running with a parachute. Holy shit. Like
Yeah.
that was also understanding that it is a superpower to think like I do. And one of the craziest parts of the process that was really illuminating, it wasn't even the diagnosis. One of the tests, it's talks about processing speed. And you get like 3 weird symbols on one side, and then you have a row of other weird symbols, and you're timed, and you have to identify if those 3 symbols are in that cluster of weird symbols. And I do that portion of the test during this 8-hour day. And after I finished that one, the neuropsych was just like, were you always this fast? And of course, my immediate thought just from muscle memory, I was like, oh my God, did I do it wrong? Like what? Like, oh my God, was I fast and wrong? Like what? And she goes, Natasha, I've done this for 20 years and I've only graded this test up to page 4. And she was like, you're up to page 10. And I was like, so what does that mean? Like I thought something, I literally was just like, so what do I have? Like, what is that?
What do I have? You have
Yes. She was just like, no, you're just, she's like, your brain just works incredibly fast. And so a lot of the stuff you miss is because you just have to remind yourself to slow down a little bit. So it's a superpower. So it's like one of those things where it was just like, I'm very aware that it is a privilege to be able to, get help and, go to a neuropsych, but there's so many free resources available for people who are inquisitive about the way their mind works or have a sense that, there's something special about them. And I think, hopefully we can post that when this airs. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so people can get started on that journey.
Humor me by, I must hear Natasha Rothwell talk about God. Okay.
my word.
Because, and I'm going to start in any way you feel like it. I always feel like it's just almost like for me, it changes every single day how I think and talk about God. But
Yeah.
you said theater is a playground where I could do or be or explore all the things that weren't permitted in church. What?
What?
It's such a big question. And like you, I am discovering so many ways and so many different ways how God is expressed in my everyday life. I grew up in the church and, I use Black church as an adjective. Like it's kind of, it's Black church. And there's a strong sense of right and wrong and permissibility. And there's a lot of denial of self in that. And conforming and I felt for me when I found theater, it was being able to have quote unquote permission to see what I actually thought and through the lens of a character, which for me was my sort of workaround on being able to like cuss and like, well, I'm doing a play and I can do that and I can say shit because it's not me, like very, very, very rudimentary thinking. But I loved theater for that reason. It was a way to escape. It was a way to project myself onto a protagonist. Is why I love film. And I think it was what I was meant to be doing with my life. Like to speak of spirituality, I do think I have been called in this life to be a storyteller and to uplift storytellers and to center marginalized voices. I feel that calling very strongly. And I think for me, my relationship to God has changed over time. I think when I was super young in my teens, I was really desperately trying to protect and hold on to the version of God that my parents was, they believed in and held on to. And I just remember having this, really interesting kind of radicalized moment in college. We had done Angels in America and I'd gone home and my father and I, like, we don't argue, but we discuss. Like, we have very intense discussions. And I just went in on, and I don't think all Christians are this way, but many have very harmful, dangerous views on sexuality that had been radicalized by Angels in America. And I just remember having this very deep conversation with my dad. And that was kind of like the God I believe in wants to love and protect and support and honor the LGBTQIA community. That's the God I'm choosing to believe in. So I was like, okay, there's this separation of ideology that made me really curious about, well, if I'm going to find God for myself and understand God for myself, I'm not going to renovate the house. I'm going from ground up. You know, I want to really know and believe what I think and not just regurgitate what I'd been taught my whole life. And it has been a beautiful, wonderful exploration of that. I still consider myself, you know, a woman of faith, but my God is so big and so loving and so inclusive. And that is, I think, what devastates me about the God of the right. Let's call it out. You know what I mean? Where it is this weaponized, anachronistic version of a white man that we're all like being subjugated to, you know? And so, but that's not the God I know. So it's so crazy to be living in this time where people who are purporting to believe in the beauty of what love is, and I do believe God is love, and yet they behave with such malice and such vitriol and create so much harm. It's just that, like, it's hard to reconcile that. But I remain steadfast. I think that for me, yeah, it's just that's the God I believe in. Yeah.
I just thought of the title of this is for sure, but I remain steadfast.
I remain steadfast.
I freaking love that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. When do you feel closest to God?
I feel closest to God often when I'm improvising, if I'm being honest. Like, that is a state of flow where I just feel super connected into something greater. When I sing, I wouldn't call myself a singer, but I love to sing. I love to karaoke. But like, even in the car, like, there's something very visceral, just hearing my sound and my chest vibrate, that like I feel like I'm tapped into something bigger, even if it is Shaka Khan. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's still,
Especially if it
especially if it's Shaka. But yeah, I also think that I've been flirting. I've flirted with meditation over the years, and I remember I did this silent retreat. I'm going to do it again. It's this Buddhist silent retreat. No tech. It's very scary. It's wild. But I think in nature, when I look at the ocean, when I'm, you know, with trees, when I'm like a good laugh, God is there. You know what I mean? Like the kind where it's just like the mouths are open and you hear no noise because you're just laughing so hard. I'm like, yeah, that to me, yeah, I feel God everywhere in those moments. Yeah, they don't have to be. I think I grew up and there was this sort of, you know, there was a protocol. You only, God's in church. And it was just like, it's so weird. I'm like, no, that motherfucker's not just in church. He everywhere.
It's going back to the beginning of the conversation, it's another trick like capitalism.
Yeah.
It's like this thing that's your birthright. We are packaging up, taking away from you, and then selling back
That's
to you. It's a
right.
little bit like the mafia.
It really is.
Like, we don't even know we have a problem. We think we're fine and in love on the earth.
Yeah.
Someone knocks on our door and says, actually, there's a hell. You're going to hell. But here's the thing.
Get ready for
Come
this.
to my place and I will protect you. It's very mafia.
It's wild. It's wild. And I think the moment that, you know, I found God for myself, the immediacy of that relationship compared to what it was before, feels even
Mm.
more potent, because it's like, oh, I don't have to like put on my church stockings and my, little shoes, my Mary Janes that hurt my feet, and like go into church and there's God. It's like, no. When I was like, I had a panic attack at the GLAAD Awards, and God was there. Do you know what I mean? Like the immediacy of that, of just like, oh yeah, if I have a moment of anxiety, or if I have, you know, someone dear to me is in pain or trouble, if I need to call on that, or like summon that relationship and really feel like I am um trusting and believing in something bigger than myself, that relationship is so internal and it's so present and it's so real, and it's just devoid of all of the ceremony of religion. And I think that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like I think religion and the performative aspects around a very sweet and beautiful relationship is sort of
Mhm.
what I'm glad to have, shed.
What is it about
It's beautiful.
creativity? Because when you're talking about when you're doing improv, you are connecting with a creativity that taps into something bigger, which I just heard you say when you're talking about being outside in nature, or being like, what is the part of being creative that has a through line through nature and God and laughing, and that allows you to tap?
Mhm.
I think it's kind of it is communing with something bigger than me, and listening. That happens in improv. You're listening to those instincts, and to um very famously, UCB in New York, their tagline is "Don't think," and obviously the idea there is to take yourself out of, don't insert yourself in with the communication between something bigger and what's happening in the moment, and just consider yourself the conduit and trusting that. And I think that what that communication is, that's not for me to decide. I just need to be an open and a willing vessel. And I've been lucky enough to use my instrument for comedy. And there's a scripture that says, laughter does the heart good like a medicine. And I do think there's a medicinal quality to laughter, especially, you know I gesture limply to the world, like, especially given all of the craziness that is going on. It's cathartic to laugh. It's a communal thing. And so I love that. And I love, using it, dramatically, and making people cry and feel things and see themselves and have that recognition. I feel like all of that is holy, right? So there's this
Mhm.
like, I think it's just like, it's not one specific um thing. I think it's being open and listening and allowing yourself to be used. And
Yeah.
that is my church. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what makes
Mhm.
sense to me as someone of faith. And yeah, it's why I've been put here. So
I'm semi-obsessed with Jesus, not like more guns, less gays
right,
Jesus,
right.
but like Palestinian activist
That's right.
Jesus.
That's
Like
right.
this is right. Um, Actually, I just have to tell you guys this. I just thought of this 1 second ago. So I was in a congressman's office a couple weeks ago, just with a bunch of Palestinian activists, actually
That's awesome.
begging him to sign Block the Bombs, right? His name's David Min.
I was
I'm
going
gonna
to say,
call
are we
him
not
that.
going to
Just-
name him?
Right,
Like,
right,
we're
right.
definitely going to name him.
Like we gotta name him.
And one of my friends, Mohammed, showed David Min pictures. He's a doctor. He's gone back and forth. So he was showing the congressman pictures of the babies that he had been trying to heal, and the bombs are bombs that had blown up these babies' bodies. And he was showing the pictures. And the congressman kind of looked, and then he said, I have gone to my Episcopalian priest to talk to him about what I should do about this. And then he went on to say he needed to pick his battles and whatever. But I kept thinking Jesus was an activist.
Yes.
Who was crucified for asking for a more beautiful and true world from the land of Palestine. You are ignoring the 7 Jesuses around you.
Yeah.
We are Christian nationalists are constantly crucifying Palestinian activists who are begging for a true, more beautiful world in the name of a Palestinian activist who was crucified for begging for a true, more beautiful world.
The irony, it's unbelievable how individuals who purport to be followers of Jesus and his teachings and the teaching of the church to not recognize in this moment with Palestine the opportunity to show up and walk the walk and to do the work that he set out to do. And it boggles my mind that there are people in these positions to actually help and affect change. And they're so afraid of actually moving in a way that would lose them votes or lose them money. And there are all these things, and they're putting that above what they're saying is the most important thing. It's just truly fucked. And it is, I wish I could get to a place where it's not a constant shock and awe campaign every time I hear it. But every time I'm just like, how can you even sit in a service on Sunday and not recognize the opportunity for you to actually make the world a better place? It's I think that's what I mean when I say, for me, God is a relationship, not the religion, because I do think there's such theater in, let me go talk to my priest, let me go do that, and there's just miss me with that. Miss me. Be so fucking for real. Do something. Actually,
I was like,
do something.
Did you ask the priest, what would Jesus do? Why don't you just ask Jesus? Because there's 7 of them at your table right now.
Exactly.
Jesus is here.
He's right here. News at 11. Do something. Sign the bill.
Yeah. And now it's time for our ads.
Here's the thing about Zelle. Life's full of those little moments when sending money makes a big difference, like pitching in for a last-minute group gift or sending your kids some extra cash at college. Or better yet, use it to delight yourself by seeing the people in your life and being able to give them a little thoughtful love that makes their day. Recently, one of my little cousins was going through some hard things, and I wanted to send them my love and support. But since I couldn't actually show up in person, being able to send a little funds so they could go get some coffee on me felt like the next best thing. It was simple, it made my day, and I hope it helped them through theirs. Whether it's a big moment or a small moment, Zelle is here for you so you can be there for them. When it counts, send money with Zelle.
Do you also think that there's something Jesus-y about acting? Because I do. I
love
hear
this.
me out for a second. The whole story is about spirit. I can't hear.
Oh, can you hear me?
She got so excited about her acting
I got
review
excited
that she dropped her
things.
thing.
I thought God silenced me, which happens sometimes.
I just want to say how much I love this conversation. This is very rarely do I get to talk about my faith, and oftentimes because that can be misconstrued as, like you said, guns, God, gays, kind of Christian. But you're so fucking for real right now. I love it. I love this. So what's your story? Sorry.
Well, just hear me out. So the whole story is spirit, collective consciousness being incarnated into a body.
Yes.
Ghost shloop, here in a body, in a different body. And that's what actors do. When you're talking about improv as spirituality, I can't help but make the connection to you are ghosting, you are incarnating
Yeah.
a different body
Yeah.
and bringing your spirit to it. And isn't that the practice of empathy? And then everybody in the audience is doing a lesser version of vacating their own self and now living in your shoes. And so it's kind of a collective consciousness spreading of empathy for all of us, which is very God to Jesus incarnation.
Yes, that's church. That's church. That's the church I want to be a part of. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
there is something so powerful in theater. And I've done shows where I don't even remember I'm like, everyone's like, you did great. I was like, I don't remember. Like, because you're so tapped into, like you said, that collective consciousness, that collective spirit. And in your transformation, you're giving permission to the audience to transform, and you're all having this collective religious experience. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
And it's like, sure, let's call it wicked, but like we all went somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
We all went
Yes.
somewhere. I feel that way when I see like an amazing like band play, and they're, you know, when they
Yes.
jam and I'm out of my body and they're out of their body. There's something so holy and spiritual about that exchange. And like you said, it is that empathy of that transactional empathy where I'm giving into the story that I've been given. I'm taking that on, and I'm letting go of myself. And audiences like you said, they let go of themselves, and we can just all be in this space where higher consciousness is communicating to all of us something valuable. And I think that's why I don't care how long I do this, I will always do live theater. Like, there's something so like television and film have an amazing way to do that, but it's just, you can't replicate that exact kind of church feeling when you're a good show and good music, all of that. It's transformative.
Is it the presence? Is it because before you were talking about like the urgency of the relationship and the immediacy and the presence, and there's something that is in a world where like we look out at the world and we see things.
Yeah.
And then 90% of the world is telling us we don't see those things. That's the thing that we see happening is not happening. And then you get in a space where you're having an undeniable, immediate, present experience that is so, it's life affirming because you're like, there's one thing happening
That's
here.
right. Yeah. It is powerful to experience emotion collectively. Collective grieving, collective laughter, collective, sorrow. And it's like you said, it's like everyone has agreed to the rules. The phones are off. We're all watching the same thing. It may touch us in many different ways, but we're not denying that this happened. And the thing too that's special about live theater is that exact play and the way it was communicated that night will never happen again. And that to me is like, how often in life now do we have those unique, undeniable moments where it's just like, if you weren't there, you weren't there. And I think that is powerful. Like that is, I don't know, pass the offering plate. That's my church. They should pass offering plates in the theater.
Yeah. Oh, they would make so much.
Right?
This is a good idea.
This is a good idea. I think I've stumbled upon something.
You always do.
I always do.
Wow. I freaking love that. That's why it's like, it's not extra. It's not, I'm just begging the world to not abandon the arts right now because it can feel like, well, we have to keep putting out fires. And so that's extra. And it's not extra. It's like,
it's the antidote.
The only thing that's real and collective. And it's the only place we're not living in an algorithm.
That's right. It is pure in that respect. And I think that, everything going away with the PBS funding and arts in general, I think it's what helps me, because there can be this idea, right? And especially for what I do, that like, how is this helping, right? We've all had those sort of existential crises where it's just like,
Yep.
how, like, this is like, I'm working on the script and it's just like, this semicolon doesn't matter. Like, what's going on? But then it's like it's being reminded, like, oh no, this is a part of the synthesizing art and getting it out there to help people in the same way that we're talking about. And so there is such a need for it now more than ever. You know, we see this with, you know, the artistry in the live theater of Colbert and Kimmel. Like, the administration understands the power that happens when you create these moments of collective, you know, catharsis and spirituality. Like, that's potent, and they recognize that. So yeah, it's a scary time, but I think that for me, it's just a signal to double down, for sure.
It is, and it's a good clue. Like, if you're somebody who can't figure out what's important about life or being human, you must just look at what fascists go after.
Yep.
If you want to know what's important,
Right.
watch what they go after and double down on
Double
that,
down on
because
that.
they know
I know, education,
what brings
arts,
life.
like, yeah,
History.
yeah,
Empathy.
Accounts, truthful accounts of things that happened is the first thing they go after. That's why they're stripping
they want to
all the museums. That's why they're critical race theory. That's why it's because if what you're saying is the, like, it's those things that you're talking about, it's expressing yourself.
Yeah.
It's like the power is the expression of yourself in whatever form it is.
Yeah.
And if folks can't express themselves creatively, comedically, historically, scholarly, like
sexually,
then the only expressions that are occurring are the expressions of authority, of sanctioned authority. And so it's anything that is self-expressive is so spiritual and is also so dangerous.
Yeah. They can't commodify individuality. If we're all the same, if we're all limited in the same way, then they can figure out how to make money off of our compliance. And if we remain individualistic, if we remain autonomous, that's dangerous to them, because it's reminding them that they do not have the power we do. So it's very, I mean, it's a very good plan, you know, like it's a very good plan. They've tried it before, you know? And so I think that's why, for me, I will always use my platform to draw attention to exactly this, and to continue to use it is the kabuki theater of the Hollywood entertainment industry. To me, the only way I can make sense of it is, like, every carpet I'm on, I'm talking about those causes and things that matter to me. I'm going to continue to, you know, use my megaphone to remind us that we are autonomous, that we have a choice, that we're not complying in advance. We are going to fight for our right to exist and to be happy. And it is going to be a fight, but I ain't tired. I'm ready.
Okay, that's another title.
I ain't tired.
What does matter to you today? Like, I know I have studied you over the years well enough to know that there's a lot of things that matter to you. So that's why I'm asking just now, what's most on your heart and mind in this moment?
My heart is heavy. There's so much. I think, I mean, we spoke about Palestine and the horrors being perpetrated there. That is kind of constantly on my mind. I think also what has happened to Jimmy Kimmel is very scary. And as someone in the creative and performing arts as someone who will always speak truth to power, this really felt like the canary in the coal mine is that bitch dead. You know what I mean? Like that's how it felt.
Mhm.
And I think in times like these, it can be really devastating, because it's just like, well, I can't go higher and back. Like, what can I do?
Mhm.
And I kind of always circled, three things. It's, do what you can, if you can, when you can.
Yeah.
And if that's tweeting in opposition, if that's boycotting, if that's sending a letter of love to him and his family of support, if it's speaking out, at the dinner table, and there's always something to be done. And so I think in these
Mhm.
times, I try to remind myself of what agency I have.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think the very obvious, they didn't even try, like, it's so out in the open. You know what I mean? It's like so out in the open of their attack on free speech. It's an unapologetic attack on free speech. And so for me,
Yeah.
it's we have to use that weapon of speech to combat it. And yeah, I think that would be on my heart.
I think the connection between Palestine and then all the way to Jimmy is interesting, because had we paid attention to the actual canaries in the coal mine,
Yeah.
which were the kiddos who were organizing and the Palestinian activists here who were organizing, but everybody was cool with them being rounded up.
Yep.
They were the canary in the coal mine for us.
For sure.
We didn't pay attention because and now you go very quickly from that to all the way to a very powerful man on TV.
Yeah.
So
for a straight cis white man who is a multimillionaire on TV to be targeted and hurt, look in the rear view. There are a lot of bodies
that's right.
that don't look like
That's
that,
right.
that paved the way, that could have been opportunities to change the course. And so, yeah, it's many, many, many dead canaries on that road for sure. But my hope is that we don't suffer anymore. Like, we need to. The time to act is now. Yeah, it's past time.
Yep. And lastly, I just want to say this: we know the trouble. We know the trouble, but circling to art and to what keeps us alive, not as an extra thing we're doing, but as we're dipping into every damn day to remember what makes life worth fighting for. You know that, oh God, you guys, I'm thinking right now of who it is. I'll look it up. But that the man who was such a gay activist when the AIDS crisis was hitting, and he said, we bury our friends in the morning. We march in the afternoon. Okay, I'm going to start crying. And we dance at night. That trifecta. We grieve, we work,
we dance.
We dance. Has to be the way.
Has to be the way.
All of them. We can't ignore any of them, or we will not have, because the dancing is what reminds us that all of this is worth working for and grieving for.
Yeah.
So to get to the dance, is there any art recently, Natasha, that just surprised you, whether it's a book or a show or a poem or anything that felt especially delightful or healing to you?
First of all, I want to say that is going. I'm getting that shit on a pillow today. That is whoo! Grieve, fight, dance. That's real. And I will say, in addition to the dance being what we're fighting for, to me, it's such a giant fuck you to those that wish to oppress and silence us, that you will not take my joy. You will not take my joy. And a little joy for me part of my neurodivergence, just to bring it all together. Hyperfixation has been a theme in my life. And so it could be a meal that I'll just truly have every single day, or a song that I'll just listen to on repeat to the point that Spotify sends in help, They're like, this is too much. And for me, that song, there's this amazing London artist, Olivia Dean, and she has this song, Man I Need. And it's like a boppy kind of like fun song that it just lights me up. And I'll have it on repeat. I'll like scream sing it in the car. I'll have it on all the time. My poor dogs are just like, she's not okay. And I'm like, no, it'll be all right. But yeah, it was just nice I've been a fan of hers for a long time. And this song was just kind of like a happy, hopeful kind of like, yeah. So that's been bringing me a little bit of joy.
That's what I needed. Thank you. Just needed something to Google today.
What about you? What are you both? What is your dance right now? What is lifting you up?
What is my dance? I mean, my baby girl is coming home as like an unexpected visit from her first year of college tonight.
Yay!
Yes. And so my entire family is going to be trapped with me for a couple days. And Abby and I promised each other that we swore to each other that for Saturday and Sunday we would turn off our phones and not react just for 2 days. And I'm so excited for that, Natasha.
I love that so much.
Amanda, do you have anything?
My current lifeline is Padraig O'Toole. He is an Irish writer. You can't describe him. He is a poet and a theologian and a memoirist, and he's queer, and I'm obsessed with Ireland and Irish politics and all the things. He brings like all of my favorite things into one story where he calls it narrative theology. So he is telling the story. This most recent book is called In the Shelter. It's from this Irish proverb it's in the shelter of each other that the people live. And he is telling the story of his faith through growing up as a queer Irish kid during the Troubles who wanted to be a priest, and then like telling the whole story of the divisions of Ireland and the British Empire's oppression and colonialism, but all through like this gorgeous prose. And so I have listened to his book literally 3 times in a row. As soon as I stop it, I just start it again because it's just feeding me and comforting me in this way that I like.
It's
really
like
need.
Scratching a brain itch of just like all the things that light you up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. And the Irish accent.
Before we go.
Also.
Oh, the Irish accent.
I mean, forget it.
Forget it.
It's a really good thing he's gay, or I'd be like, to Dublin we go. To Dublin we go.
The cliffs of more of you.
Yeah, exactly.
We love it.
Natasha, my final question, and then I really will let you go, is will you be our best friend?
I've been waiting for this moment for so long. I'm serious. I have been lit up by this conversation. I think it's why I was such a fan of the show. You guys are so thoughtful and you're so my people. You're so like, you think about the world in the same way I do. And it is just a dream to be on. You are so lovely, so wonderful. Yeah, I want to be the third Doyle sister.
So she's saying she'll hyperfixate
That's our title.
That's all we want.
I want to be up in there. I want to be up in there. Oh, no, you guys are so everything. Everything.
Thank you, Natasha. Please, if you ever want or need or if you just I'm here and we're here. And we're so grateful for you existing in the world.
Tell Abby to add me to her New York Times puzzler friend list.
I don't know what that
I'm
is,
sure
but I
she'll
will tell
know.
her.
I love it. I love
Okay.
it.
She'll know. Pod Squad, we love you. Go forth and grieve, work,
And dance.
dance. See you next time. Bye.
Oh my God, I love you so much. I love you so much.
You guys, that was everything I dreamed up times 20. We did all the things.
Oh.
We Can Do Hard Things is an independent production brought to you by Treat Media. We make art for humans who want to stay human. Forever Dog is our production partner, and you can follow us at We Can Do Hard Things on Instagram and at We Can Do Hard Things Show on TikTok.